Good afternoon, children. So, children, once again, we are with the continuation of the chapter that is money and credit. Before continuing, proceeding the chapter, we'll just revise what we have done in our previous class. So, children, in our previous class, we discussed about what is money. We also discussed about that. What led to investment of money? What led to invention of money? And in that we discussed that before money, before the modern forms of money, how transactions were taking place in our country. And in that we discussed about barter system. I think all of you must be remembering. Now, what is this barter system? Once again, I'll tell you. Because in doubt section, I saw that many of you had problem in barter system. So barter system is system in which goods are exchanged with goods for any type of transaction. Money is not given. Money is not used at all. For example, if you want to buy the shoes in exchange, you have to give whatever you have. Suppose if you have clothes, if you have socks, anything. In that you buy in exchange you buy the shoes. Or if you have any cattle. If you want to buy onions, in exchange you have to give potatoes. So this is known as barter system. And in barter system, we discussed about double coincidence of bonds. Some of the students were having problem in this point. Now children, what is the term double coincidence of bonds? Double coincidence of bonds means the bonds of the two, that buyer and seller, should match with each other. A coincidence should take place. Suppose if I want to buy a book and I'm having a set of pens, and if I go to person to purchase the bookseller should also have a demand for the pen. He should also say that I also required a pen. In that situation, the transaction will take place. I will give my pen and the bookseller will give the books. So that exchange will take place in a proper way because bonds of both the parties were matching with each other. Was and this is known as double coincidence of bonds. So for a barter system transaction, it is very essential that double coincidence of bonds should take place. So this is known as what? Barter system. So we discussed about what is barter system, what is double coincidence of bonds. And then we discussed about modern forms of money. In that we discussed about currency, notes, check and demand drafts. Then children were discussed about the loan activities of the bank. We saw that how bank acts as a mediator between the borrower and lender. We also see that how the bank works, how the bank gives loans. We saw that. We also discussed about the functions of Reserve Bank of India, that how it supervises all the banks and sees that they keep at least 15% of cash as a reserve for lending to the borrowers and for giving lending to the borrowers. Then we discussed about functions of RBI, and then we also discussed about the different terms of credit. In that we discussed about the different terms, that is collateral, interest rate, documentation and mode of payment. All these things were discussed in our previous class. Now children, today we'll continue, and yes, we also discussed up the two credit situation, that how credit is crucial for the development of our economy and how sometimes taking credit or a loan is beneficial and sometimes it is not beneficial. Sometimes we have to take a lot of risk if we take credit or loans. We discussed the example of Sapna and Salim. In the case of Sapna, taking loan or a credit, she was in debt trapped, and in case of Salim, taking loan or credit was beneficial to him. We discussed this also. Now in today's video, in today's class, we'll just proceed with the next point, and this will be just like conclusion of the chapter. And that point is formal and informal sectors of credit, sources of credit. What are these formal and informal sources of credit? Formal sources of credit are bank and cooperatives. The loan that you take from your bank, that loan you get at a not so high rate of interest. The rate of interest is not so high. And cooperative society also, it is just, they just make a group. We'll discuss that what is cooperative society in the next part. Now, banks and cooperative society are known as informal sources of credit. They don't charge a very high rate of interest, yes, but getting loan from bank is not an easier task, because if anyone wants to get loan for a bank, they have to follow the different terms of credit, and in that they have to give rate of interest also, they have to give collateral also. Collateral we have already discussed in a previous class, that is security, and they have to return the payment also, return the loan also. And then the second is informal sources of credit. Informal sources of credit consist of money lender, friends and relatives. Now, there is one condition if we take loan from money lender, friends and relatives, that are informal sources. The money lender, friends and relatives, they charge a very high rate of interest. Suppose if you want to take loan from any money lender, they charge interest up to 20 to 25% or more than that also. We discussed in the chapter of story of village Palampur that the zamindars give loan to the small farmers at a very high rate of interest. And these farmers, then you would ask me a question that, ma'am, why this why people are not taking loan from banks? Why they take from money lenders? Just now I explained you that bank requires different proofs, like they want collateral or security, and these poor people, they lack collateral. They don't have anything, neither they have salary slip, nor they have property, nor they have land or cattle. Without this, bank never gives loan. And the money lenders, as they are in personal contacts, friends, relatives, as they personally know the borrowers, they give them the loan without any security, without any proof, without any security, but they charge a very high rate of interest. And it is seen in our country that mostly the poor people take loan from informal sources. So here the opposite situation is there. What should be the situation? What should be the picture here? Poor people should get loans from the bank at a low rate of interest. Instead of that, these poor people are taking loan not from bank but from money lenders, and they charge them a very high rate of interest. You see in the book also, in graph also, it is given that 80% of poor people, they take loan from informal sector, and 20% of people they take from formal sector, poor people. And 80% of rich people, they take loan from formal sector like bank. They can afford to pay interest, but then also they take loan from banks. But poor people, they cannot afford to pay high rate of interest, but then also they take loan from money lenders because they lack collateral. But if this situation will continue, what will happen? The poor will become more and more poor, and they will be in a situation of debt trap that we discussed about Sapna. Continuously, they will be in a debt trap. So this thing should not happen. So government now is giving instructions to formal sources, to banks and cooperatives, to give loans to poor farmers also, and small scale industries also. And you see that various changes are taking place. You see that the Prime Minister has taken various steps. He has taken steps to open account of poor people, that is Jan Dhan Yojana, in the bank, so that poor people can also get benefit of the bank account. So this is known as what? Formal and informal sources of credit. So this is given in your book also. A question can come in your exam that what are the formal and informal sources of credit? Give examples, and who gets what. And who gets what, you have to write that. The poor people, they get loan from informal sector, and rich people, they get loan from formal sector. This will be the answer. You have to draw the graph given in your book. Now this we have discussed. Now after this, we'll discuss about that I told you just now, that cooperatives. Now what are these cooperatives? To explain cooperatives, example of self-help group is given in your book. And this question, please remember, it has come in the current board year question paper also, you see, and mostly every alternate year question comes from this part, that what is self-help group, and discuss its function. Now children, Let me explain you first what are the self-help groups. Self-help, the meaning is the people those who help themselves. And this self-help group, they cooperate. Cooperative society means it is a group of people who cooperate with each other for giving credit, for giving loans, so that the members of that group, they don't have to go to money lenders or friends and relatives to take loan at a very high rate of interest. They help themselves with their own money. Now, how this self-help group is created? Now, children, self-help group, which is given in your book, is example of the women's group. This group is formed by women living in the rural area that you have studied in your book. So, this self-help group is formed by different villages in our country. The people the people who are living in one locality. What they do? 20 to 25 or some families, they do a meeting. They decide that we will pool our savings according to their income. Suppose they decide that from each family, they will contribute from 25 rupees to 100 rupees monthly according to the capacity. Some give 25, some give 50, some give 100 every month. And for few months, this money has been collected. After collection of money, if they have some amount with them, what they do? They start a type of lending process. They decide that from that money, they will lend the members of that self-help group, the families who have contributed in the group. Suppose there are 100 families or 50 families. They contribute money for 6 months or 1 year. After that, a handsome amount of money is been there with that group. Now this group, what they do? They announce that if the group members, they want money in a form of loan in any difficult situations or for purchasing seeds, for education of their children, for different social functions, the self-help group, they give loans to this poor people. And due to this self-help group, what happens? These people, they don't have to approach to the banks or money lenders for getting money, and they get the money at a very low rate of interest. Suppose if marriage is there in anyone's house, if there is any ceremony, if any medical emergency is there, some of them want money for purchasing seeds and working capital. For this purpose, the self-help group or cooperative society give loans to the members of the self-help group. And due to this, the self-help group, they don't have to take money or loan from the money lenders at a very higher rate of interest. And this money is given to this self-help group. This money is their own money which they have contributed. But this money, now you will say that, ma'am, if this money will be over, then what they will do? No, this money is given by self-help group at a rate of interest, but that rate of interest is very low as compared to rate of interest of money lenders. So naturally, the people of the village or the self-help group members, they get money from this self-help group in the form of loan. Okay. Now what happens? Now I'll say that sometimes these people, they take loan for 1,000, 2,000. This amount is not so. This they give. But sometimes it happens so that if any member of the self-help group, emergency occurs in his house, if somebody is severely ill, or if any type of emergency is there and he requires the money in thousands, 50,000 or 60,000, that money which is more for self-help group. So at that time, self-help group plays a very important role. What is that role? This self-help group takes that member who wants a money, more money, to the bank with the papers of self-help group. Some papers they prepare. They have a proof that they are having this group. And they go to the bank. The bank asks that what is the necessity. The self-help group says that the members wants this amount of loan. Bank, what it does? It considers the self-help group as a collateral and gives the handsome amount of loan to that person who is in necessity on the name of self-help group. So here the self-help group acts as a collateral or security for that poor person. He has not to go to any money lender and get this loan at a very high rate of interest for any type of emergency. So this self-help group, a type of cooperative society which is formed by cooperation of many people, They also act as a collateral for helping the people of that group. And there are many self-help groups in our country who help the poor people for this purpose. So this is the work of self-help group. Now, one more thing is done in self-help group. Mostly it is seen that in villages there are self-help group of women. Now these women members who should sit together in self-help group, they do a meeting, and in that meeting they discuss the various social problems prevailing in their house. They also discuss the cases of domestic violence, dowry problems, any type of injustice which is done to them. All these things are discussed and sorted out in this group. They also discuss the health and nutritional status of their family. They also discuss the different medical problems that they are facing. So all these things are also discussed in the self-help group. So we can say that the question comes in exam that self-help group is a building block of the rural poor. It acts as the building block. It acts like a building of the rural poor, which helps for development of the rural poor. It gives all type of help to the rural poor. So this is the work of self-help group. So in exam, the question can come that how many members are there, how many family members, what is the amount of money, that is 15 to 25, which is there for 15 to 25 to 100 rupees per family. The question can come that how self-help group is formed and what are their functions. If this question comes, you have to write all these points which we have discussed. Now this is the end of the lesson. We have completed with what is formal sectors, informal sources, formal sources and self-help group. Now in this last concluding video of this lesson, we'll discuss about the expected questions which come from this topic. I have discussed in the previous section also that the first question that comes is what is barter system and what are double coincidence of bonds. Then the question comes that mention and discuss the different modern forms of money. I have discussed the answer also. Then question comes what are the loan activities of the bank? What are the functions of RBI? Then the question that from the part which I have taught you, the main question is differentiate between formal and informal sources of credit. You have to differentiate with giving examples. Then question comes that which sector provides more loan to the poor people and which sector provides more loan to the rich people. This you can explain by the help of graph which is given in your book. Then the question comes that what are self-help group? This is also very important. And how it is formed and discuss its function. This question also mostly it comes in your board exams. So these are the expected questions which you have to prepare for exam. So we have completed this chapter today. Your homework will be to write the answers to the questions which I have given you in all the videos. And you have to make at least 20 short questions from the taught portion and you have to write the answers in your homework copy. Whatever are your queries and doubts will be discussed in the doubt section which I am going to take next week in my interactive classes. So children, for today it is enough. We have completed the chapter money and credit. Thank you children.